What's up, guys? This is Sabino, and this is the Growing Up Italian podcast. This episode is going to be slightly different than what you're used to. Today, we're going to show you an exclusive conversation with Nick Varano, owner of Strega, and our very own Sal the Voice Valentinetti. If you haven't seen the episode yet, I advise you to go to it via link in the description and check it out. And as always, thank you all for your continuous support.
One of the best parts about the North End of Boston is the food and the tradition. So I'm going to introduce you guys to somebody who's been in this neighborhood for his entire life and been at this location since 2003 and many, many more. Let's go inside to Strega North End and meet Nick Varano. How you doing?
Hey, Sal. How are you, man? How are you?
Good to see you. Good to see you.
You look handsome as always.
Me?
God bless you.
Look at this. You always got the Xenia head to toe.
The only thing I'm missing are your eyes. If I ever had your eyes and your hair.
Stop it. If I could have a place like this, I'd really be in business.
Nah, because then you get big like me. Forget
Big,
about it.
how did I do it? How do you think this? Do you think this happened by mistake?
You realize I was 3 times your size 5 years ago?
I don't believe it.
Oh, believe it.
I don't.
Believe
The last thing that I seen that was 3 times my size crashed in the 40s. It was the Hindenburg. It went down in a field.
it. Believe me, I was an E clear away from 500. Believe me.
And God
But
bless
nice
you.
to see you.
You're doing great.
Thank God, no complaints. Family's good. Everybody's good.
You're doing better than great. But I don't want to start at the end. I want to start at the beginning because that's where we're at right now. Strega North End. This is where it all started for you.
That's right.
But even back before then, your parents came here in 1968 from where?
Calabria, Italy.
So you're Calabrese.
Thick-headed, very thick-headed.
Well, that's what that's the good food. You know, Calabrese, Italian culture in general, but Calabrese really centers around the table.
Absolutely. A family table and just, we're known for mostly olives, right? Sopressata, roba picante, a little spicy, and family and love and loyalty.
That's right. Your family comes here in 1968. Were your parents already married?
My parents were married in Italy, and my mother came over here, and soon after she got pregnant, came right to this neighborhood. She went to went to hairdressing school, and opened a little beauty shop on Salem Street here in the North End, and it's been home ever since.
So, your mother already had a business,
Yeah.
and your father decides to open Victor's.
My uncle did.
Your uncle.
My uncle Victor, yeah. So my mother was one of 16 kids, 14 brothers. And my uncles were my gods growing up, right? Good-looking Italian guys, the feather back hair, hairy chest.
We're all good looking. Then.
Shirt buttoned down to hair, gold chains. I wanted to be like them, the mustache. Hi, cousin.
Your sister done a great job.
Thank
for us.
you.
Thank you. We
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
it. You
You're
know
the
that
best.
there.
How
How you doing?
How you
How you
doing?
been?
How
Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
My uncle opened up a convenience store.
I saw him 2 hours ago.
Did
Said
you
the same thing. I saw him standing outside the society. I was walking up.
Listen, you'll never find, not to get off base, but you'll never find an inner city Italian neighborhood like this in the country.
Yeah.
New York's the Mecca, but doesn't even come close for an Italian neighborhood. Philly, Chicago, California, there is nothing like this neighborhood.
Listen, they're going to be so well fed that you talk about whatever you want and we'll put it in order.
Perfect.
But, because that's conversations in general.
Yeah.
We're going to go all over the place.
So anyway, my uncle started the
Yeah.
store in 1982. My grandfather says, I hate you. I'm a vai lavori. You got to go to work. So July 2nd, 1982, we opened the store at 4:30 in the morning, and I started slicing cold cuts, stocking shelves, filling refrigerators, and I worked from 4:30 in the morning to 11:30 at night, 7 days a week, to the point that 15, freshman year of high school, I just decided it wasn't for me, school. In 9th grade, I came home, went to work, and I never went back to school. The truant officers would come to the house, and my mother says, what do you want me to do? He's going to work. I can't make him go to school because you couldn't leave school.
He's
till
not
you
in
were
the
16.
street. Right.
Right. And followed my uncles, and I love making people happy, and we never said no to anything.
So you fell in love with entertaining.
I really did, honest to God. One of the reasons why I look up to you so much, Alan, you're much younger than me, right? You're not really much better looking than me besides the eyes. But one of the reasons because you have a talent, right? You know how to make people happy, right? By your voice and your talent, you have a gift, right?
Yeah.
So for me, my thing was make everybody feel special. Make everybody feel like they're Sal the Voice. Make everybody feel like they're a something and a celebrity. In this neighborhood, you got 114 restaurants. We all serve chicken, veal, pasta, all made with a different hand, but it's the same stuff. You know, it's the same. It's all how you make somebody feel, right? If a guy's on a date, I want him to get a fucking kiss or get laid that night. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
If a guy's on a business deal, I want him to get a signature. So the next time when she chooses to go out with him or not, she's going to say, I want to go to Strega. When they have a business deal to close, they're going to come closer to Strega because they feel good. Salud.
So that leads us to 2003. You decide, I love the business, I love people, I love entertaining, I want to make people happy. You open Strega North End.
Yes.
The decision to open in the North End, where did that come from?
The neighborhood I grew up with, the neighborhood I love. A lot of my mentors.
Because the rent ain't
were down
cheap over here.
No, the rent wasn't cheap, and a friend of mine had owned this restaurant for many years. And I came in one night on a Friday night with my wife, and he was slow, and every restaurant was busy. And I said, Frank, I said, would you ever think of selling me the place? And he was a real character, you know. Hi, chef, how are you? About 500-600 pounds, a real Northern legend. And we made a deal. 2 days later, I'm at his house, make a deal. I got the place, I opened up Strega. But the one thing I did different, you talk about entertainment, right, is I wanted to have an opening that people remembered, right? We're not New York. We don't have Wall Street. We're not LA. We don't have Clooney walking in the door or one of the Kardashians walking in the door, right? We're Boston. Our celebrities are our athletes. Right?
Yep.
That's our Boston, that, you know. So, but at the time, the hottest show on TV in maybe cable history was The Sopranos, right?
That's right.
So what better place than the North End, Italian-American, greatest inner city neighborhood, to have the cast of The Sopranos come to a grand opening of a 50-person little restaurant. So I made a call to Big Pussy, who was a friend of mine, Vincent Pastore.
Yep.
I called him up, I says, hey Vin, any chance you could come to my grand opening? He says, what do you open? I said, a little restaurant. He goes, like, I don't know, he says, next day he called me back, come pick me up, I'll come. I says, how do I get the other cast members? You're going to go through their agent. I make a call out to LA, he gives me the agent's number. I said, I want the cast of Sopranos. He goes, what are you opening, a hotel? You got to remember, it is the single biggest, hardest show at the time. Everything's relevant. Right?
Everyone was after these people.
So he says, how big's this restaurant? I said, 50 seats. He goes, what? He says, yeah. So I made a deal with the guy over the phone. I said, I'll give you the money, and you'll have it in 2 hours. He goes, I thought you were in Boston. I says, don't worry about that. He says, you got to get him this. He says, anyway, the cast of Sopranos comes to the North End. Strega opens up May 29, 2003.
In
makes the
Nick,
front
in
full.
Nick Varano fashion, you basically say, whatever they need, I'm going to have.
Correct.
Don't worry about nothing. I want them here.
I want him here.
Yeah.
The next day they get here, makes the front full. This is now before Instagram and TikTok and Lifebook and all that. So it makes the front fold of the Boston Globe, Boston Herald, right?
Wow.
Sopranos visit their friend Nick Varano's North End Eatery. Well, guess what's up? The next night, you couldn't walk by, you couldn't get in for months and months and months. You couldn't get in. And the rest is history. I got lucky with the athletes after.
4 years at this location. You have a young family at home. You're busier than ever. You decide it's time to open up another restaurant in the North End, on the same street, on Hanover. I mean, you know, a lot of restaurateurs will say, I'm gonna go to the other side of town, I'm gonna try, but you tried a different concept in the same neighborhood.
Yeah, so I named it after my firstborn, my son Nico, right down the street. Because in life, Sal, you got to learn. If you're not willing to lay it down, you can never pick it up.
That's right.
Right? You can't complain if somebody else has something. You can't hit a $20 number if you don't play a $20 number.
That's right.
Am I right?
That's right.
You don't go out and try out for what you did in your life, the success you've had, right? If you stay home on the couch that day instead of say, you know what?
I'd be singing in my shower.
Exactly. So you had to lay it down and pick it up.
That's right.
So I said, fuck it. Take a shot. I got the recipe. Treat everybody special and don't make anything a big deal. Everything's just a deal. Somebody don't want something, don't like, relax, take it off the check. it's about them.
You treat people like family.
Mate, it's about them, right?
Yeah.
You work hard for your money.
Yeah.
You can go eat whatever you want, right? You don't have to come here. It's what brings you back here. Make the person happy. That's really it. There is no secret.
Yeah. Obviously, your experience was memorable. Because then another 3 years later, you're opening up your first steakhouse. Now, steakhouse is kind of a different concept, right? It's a little bit of a different flair. Obviously, different menu.
Actually, we wanted to come back to that. If you can cut it. Strega Waterfront was next.
Oh, that's
new seaport
2010, right.
That changed everything.
Right.
Strega Waterfront in the new
What was the
seaport.
developer's name?
Joe Fallon.
Joe Fallon comes to you in 2009.
Correct.
Right. You're open here now for 6 years. Down the block for 2.
Yeah.
You're cranking. Joe Fallon's sitting eating. He says, "What does he approach you? Do you approach him?"
Actually, our old mayor, who was the longest mayor in Boston's history, was Italian, Mayor Menino.
That's
I
right.
used to hold signs for Tom Menino as a kid.
Wow.
He calls me and says, "Nick, where are you?" I says, "I'm in the North End." He goes, "My friend Joe Fallon is going to change the city of Boston. He's going to develop a city down the seaport like you've never seen." He goes,
And the seaport was nothing.
was parking lots, nothing. It was,
Yeah.
I mean, nothing. There was one restaurant open at the time, Jimmy's Harborside, which was actually 2 Anthony's before. They were legendary Boston restaurants that were going out of business. There's nothing there at the time, nothing but parking lots on 3 streets on the ocean. So he says he's going to call you in 15 minutes. Don't say no to him.
Yeah.
Calls
Wow.
me. I go down and see him. He shows me what he's going to do with the seaport, and I go, "Nah, come on, Joe." I said, "There's nobody here." He goes, "Wait." And right now, 11 years later, we're the oldest restaurant down there for ISO, and it is the hottest, most expensive real estate from here to New York.
You talk about your grand opening here as being something of legend. Your grand opening at the waterfront was a bash.
Yes, well, we had a friend of yours, Chaz Palminteri,
That's
came
right.
down. Tony Sirico, Paulie Walnuts came back down. We had a few good bands, and we just had a great, great night. Because I realized that, you know what, if you open up and give the city a show, you make everybody feel good. Invite everybody in the city.
Make it an event.
Make it an event. Let them meet people that they would never think that they could meet. Shake hands and take pictures. It has a value. You see how many people stop you walking down the street here, Sal? You bring in points. It makes everybody feel good. So I think if you could do that, they're going to come back.
And at that point, you know, you're 7 years in the neighborhood. So it's like Boston's cousin Nicky opening up a place. We all got to go. We all got to be there for that. And they showed up, and Waterfront became tremendous.
The Mecca.
Yeah.
Boston.
I mean, you talk about athletes.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Anybody that was.
Could you drop some of the names that have been through Strega Waterfront?
Absolutely, because they become friends.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody has been through Strega. I mean, from Boston athletes, you have David Ortiz, Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett. These guys were there every single night. All the Red Sox, all the Bruins parties were there. And then all the Patriots players were there. Edelman, Brady, everybody came through at some point. And then they would tell their other teams across the league. And LeBron James was one of my first customers here in 2003, Summer League here.
Wow.
Right here, he's 17 years old. He had a Yankees hat on. In a,
Oh, no.
Yeah, in a Jay-Z T-shirt on.
I know you got respect for the Yankees, but
Yeah, I know I do with
this is
DiMaggio,
Boston.
just because of DiMaggio, but
Yeah,
with Boston.
yeah.
And I told LeBron when he came in, you can't put on the hat in there. He started laughing. I go, and ever since then till this year when he was with the Lakers, they came and took the place. So 17 years later, 18 years later, he still remembers his rookie year, 17 years old, him, Maverick, Paul, coming in here and me treating them with respect. And to this day, they've all come through everywhere.
I think the best part about that too is because you are such a neighborhood installation that when the people of the North End, when the people of Boston, when people from the North End come back and they're sitting and eating at one of your places and they see one of their favorite athletes, one of their sports heroes of the town, it's like
It's unbelievable.
immediately that person becomes a regular guy because they're one of Nicky's people. You know?
Yep.
2013 is Strega Prime in the suburbs.
Steakhouse.
That's right.
300-person steakhouse in the suburbs to try something different and to get out of my lane a little bit and try an Italian steakhouse.
Yeah?
And we had, I think people, also the Jersey Boys come perform for that grand opening.
That's right.
Yeah.
Cast the Jersey Boys. I was with the finale of America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
And they came and did the grand opening.
They came and did the grand opening for that.
And once you kind of got the whole inner workings of the steakhouse and everything, you got it down right away. Because the formula kind of is the same. Even though it's a different style of restaurant, you're still treating people like VIPs. And that's what people remember, and that's what people come back for.
That's right.
2015, you opened Strip.
Oof.
And that changed the game.
Changed the game. Brought Las Vegas and Miami to Boston for the first time.
Because it wasn't just the restaurant anymore, it was the nightlife. It turned over into a destination for celebrities and
everybody that came to Boston
alike.
had to come by Strip.
That's right.
That's what they heard. That was where the vibe was. That was where the energy was.
Yeah.
And exactly what you said. I brought entertainment, nightlife, and the finest menu and the finest steaks in the city.
Because you love Vegas.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of an avid gambler. So,
so I've heard. Something I don't think a lot of people are going to notice is that we both got a glass of wine. You didn't take a sip.
It's full of shit. Yeah, I don't drink it.
That's right.
I've never had a drink my whole life. Never tasted it. Never nothing. But when I toast, I'll put it to my lips out of respect because I don't want it to bring bad luck to the person you're toasting with. But I do.
But you're sharp. You're always on.
I like to have a clear head, yeah.
Yeah. What? Clear head? I would say that you're far from able to have a clear head with everything you got going on.
Actually, and we'll probably get to it, I got very lucky. I have an amazing family that now I've taken a little step back.
So, we'll get right to that because it's just encore, and then I want to get right back to your family because that's...
But let's talk about the Strip grand opening.
Well, yes, so Strip, 2015, Vegas meets Boston.
Yes.
New Vegas meets Old Boston.
That's exactly right.
You bring it together, and it becomes a nightlife destination for the city.
Incredible. I called another friend of mine to come, and we had over 5,000 people come to that grand opening. Mm-hmm. We had Kool in the Gang, which was one of my favorite groups of all time. But more importantly, my dear friend Jamie Foxx came, and he stayed and hosted the event for me for 5-6 hours.
He's the coolest
Mary
guy
J.
ever.
Blige came through and all that. I mean, it was unbelievable. But
yeah.
Jamie's become like a brother to me and family, like an uncle to my kids. And he came, and again, the next day, Boston never seen a party like that, right? We don't have these celebrities,
right?
And anyway, Strip became the spot for anyone that's anybody to come to Boston to go to. You called him.
I jinxed
Somebody
it.
jinxed it.
I'm a jinx. I'm a jinx.
Ever.
They're looking for me, Sabino. So, right back to Boston, never had anything like this.
Yeah. So I wanted to bring almost what STK did in Las Vegas, right?
Yeah.
You mix entertainment, nightlife, and to bring it back also to who I think is the greatest to ever do it for Italian Americans, Stevie Martorano did in Fort Lauderdale with Martoranos, was bring a little bit of entertainment into dining. Make it a show, right? People don't have the money that they can go to dinner every 3-4 nights. So when they go out, give them a night out. Give them an experience.
Yeah.
And I put that all packaged in together into Strip by Strager, and it blew up.
Yeah. That's really cool. You give a nod to Steve Martorano.
No question.
Yeah.
Without him, you wouldn't see any of these TVs or movies. When I went into his place and I fell in love with it, and I actually probably one of the few people that called him before I did it.
That's right. Because I know a lot of people who've done it and haven't called.
And you can ask Stevie, and I called him, and he gets all the credit in the world when it comes to that.
Yeah.
He's the best at it. He's the godfather.
You know what? And I didn't even know. I mean, I imagine that you
I'm
and
from
Steve,
Boston, but yeah.
Right. I imagine you and Steve would know each other being in the business, but I finally put it together because you mentioned that he was an inspiration.
Come here.
Ciao bello.
L'amico mio, ciao. Viaggio.
Viaggio.
Che fai?
Ciao, piacere.
Ciao, piacere, Viaggio. Sta facendo un film?
Yeah, sto facendo
Ma come mi mettete
tu sei troppo grande un attore per
Mi
noi.
metto la
Agio.
capottina.
You're on Netflix already. Can I get on Netflix?
Netflix?
You're on Netflix already. Can I get on, please?
E ti piglio tempo mio che spendevo già Netflix. Ah?
No, Mike.
Allora che cazzo va
Mango
trovando?
Semisi. He's a neighborhood legend. So it's from my uncle Biaggi. He came from Sicily.
So, Strip becomes an overnight success,
Yes.
right? The grand opening is tremendous. Jamie Foxx, Kool and the Gang. And Jamie Foxx probably did sing with Kool and the Gang at some point, I
did.
imagine.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you got people already know that for the last 12 years in Boston, your name is it when it comes to fine dining, when it comes to neighborhood eats.
Yes.
And now when it comes to nightlife, that Miami Vegas flavor. Let's take it now to one of your favorite pastimes, and that's the casino, right? We talk about bringing that Vegas flavor to Boston.
Yes.
Steve Wynn builds a casino right in your backyard, and you know you got to be in on that. You know you got to be involved. You and Frank DiPasquale,
Yes.
another neighborhood legend.
Yes.
How does that come about? I mean, a casino, that's like, you know.
So for many, many years, I was probably going to Las Vegas every 3-4 weeks for probably 20 years. That's a
Yeah.
far trek to go every 3-4 weeks. But I was what in this neighborhood you'd call a degenerate gambler. I like to say more, as my friend Jenny says, an avid gambler.
That's right, a profession.
Exactly, but not very good at it, so to be honest. So anyway, through being out there so much, you build relationships, build a network, build friendships, and again, treating everybody from the doorman to the bellman to the limo driver to the butler with the most respect, and everybody smiling happy.
That's right.
No one's better than anybody. We'll put our pants on the same.
They know you as soon as you walk through the door.
Right, just make everybody feel special.
Yep.
And that's where I got a little bit of the culture, right? How to develop somebody and how to make somebody feel good. Anyway, from building the relationships, Steve Wynn and the Wynn Group are going to open up a casino in Everett, Massachusetts, which is a stone throw less than a mile away from my original restaurant.
And that's called Sky
No, that's called Encore Boston Harbor.
Encore Boston Harbor.
Encore
Well, no,
Boston
we were
Harbor.
talking about Everett.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
in Everett.
right.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
So Encore Boston Harbor is in Everett, right? Even though it's Encore
That's
Boston Harbor.
right.
But it's less than a half a mile from the north end.
That's right.
Believe it or not. The water touches Boston, everything touches Boston. And he's going to build, so it's going to be a dream of mine to partner up with Encore, right?
Yep.
And win the greatest name in gaming,
Yeah.
right? And
The hotel to stay out on the Vegas Strip.
the hotel. One of my mentors in this neighborhood, as far as restaurants, a true North End restaurant legend, Frank DiPasquale, has been a friend of mine for 30 years.
That's right.
So I always looked up to Frank and went to him for advice anytime I needed it. And like me, never knew the word no. And we teamed up. We had a meeting with them. We said, we'll do it together, right?
Yeah.
Frank and I, and we convinced them that if you're going to do a restaurant, hotel, casino, 5-star in Boston, we're the guys to put the
That's right.
Italian-American culture and feel in that and bring Boston over to Encore. And we were fortunate enough and blessed enough by them for them to choose us. And we opened up Fratelli, which means brothers in Italian.
2019,
Correct.
which takes us right into 2020. You made a pretty intense decision. At this point, you have 8 restaurants
Yes.
in 2019.
Yes.
You've now just kind of achieved the dream. You have your place, your hands in the Encore Casino. You and the Wynn Group are now intertwined.
Yes.
You sit back and you think about your loved ones. You know, you think about the legacy you've built. Let's talk about your family, because you made the decision last year to sell most of what you've built, to pass it on.
Yeah.
And you know, me, like, you build these restaurants and they're your babies. But are they really? Are they really as important to you? Are they really? What I want to ask you is, are they the most important thing to you? And so that
It's a very good question in the way you put it. And excuse me if I get emotional, but I can't talk about a few things. My mother being one of them, God rest her soul.
Yeah.
And my children, or my family, or my sisters. But yeah. So it's about quality of life too, right?
Yeah.
I was 49 years old. I worked out since I was 12 years old, and you talk about sometimes, you know, God or your mother or somebody up in heaven looking down on you. Right time, and timing's everything. And this amazing opportunity came up that this public company, hospitality group from overseas.
1 second. Yeah. Sorry. I'm sorry. So the hospitality group.
So this company out of actually Ireland comes over.
Duru.
Danu Partners.
Danu. Right.
Danu, they own the Smith & Wolinskis around the world.
That's right.
And they love the Strega brand. And they approached me about, they were going to increase their portfolio, about buying the Strega brand in the restaurants that I wanted to sell if I was interested to. And this was, the deal went through January 27th, 2020, about 40 days before COVID.
Wow.
And the pandemic.
Wow.
Came through, and the deal happened, and at that point I sold the brand Strega, and I sold Strega Waterfront,
Yep.
Strip by Strega, and Strega Prime in Woburn, along with the brand to a public company, just so I could spend more time with my family.
And talk about timing.
Timing. So it's funny, about a month after the sale, I get a call by our governor here.
Yep.
He's a friend of ours. And actually a Boston legend, Mark Wahlberg, actually said, "Holy fuck, did you get lucky? What the fuck? Did you know this thing was coming?" I says, "Mark," I says, "honest to God, you talk about being lucky. If this deal waits another month, I could be homeless. You know, I could lose everything. You know, who knew that the world was going to come to an end?" So I got very lucky, but I think you create your own luck.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that my mother was looking down from heaven and sent this amazing company into my life.
Yeah.
And I could take a little time to sit back, relax, and enjoy more time with Nico, Marina, my wife, and just family and friends.
You know, everything good? You know, your mother, you say that your mother's memory and your mother's essence is what kind of led you to make this decision. You made an agreement when you sold the Strega name. You said everything but my place is in the North End.
Yeah.
You said, I'm going to preserve what I have in the neighborhood I grew up in.
Absolutely.
And turn my focus back to home.
That's right.
In more ways than one. With your family, with Marina and Nico and your wife and your siblings and everybody, and then with the people who you held in such a high regard, the people you treated like family all these years, the people who you made special feel special for 2 decades almost, and even longer than that if you think about Victor's and all that. Are you happy?
I'm ecstatic. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for many reasons. A, because I'm truly blessed. 2, I have the most amazing family, kids, wife ever. And I have my sisters who I adore. My sister Varano, who now oversees everything down here.
Yeah.
This one, Nico and Marina's. And listen, people have different blessings, right?
Yeah.
Some people are tall, dark, and handsome. I'm short, fat, not so handsome. But I'm blessed with love, family, and loyalty among friends, like nobody else.
That's a beautiful thing.
Oh, yeah.
How important is it to keep it all in the family?
Very important.
Yeah.
Extremely important. But to me, family is not just blood. Family is people that were good to you when you needed help, when you were down,
Yeah.
and they never turned their back on you.
Wise man once told me, family isn't who you're born with, it's who you die for.
Whoever told you that was a very smart, fucking wise man, because that is a very,
How did you
very
know?
good statement. Very good statement. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Hey, listen, I'm not stopping, right? Meaning,
No.
So now I want to help my daughter. Has an idea, Marina, who you know, everyone calls her refresh, right? To live a
Yeah.
healthier lifestyle. Obviously, I don't fall under that.
Right.
But so we're looking at a concept.
Well, she knows the
with
struggle.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we're going to be starting hopefully a new venture with her that I can help her. She has that entrepreneurship
Yeah.
in her, and I'm going to start something with her.
Good thing you had a mother like you did to encourage you and push you towards this, because it kind of gave you the lesson you needed to know that, listen, sometimes your kids may know better than you.
Oh, 100%. Rosanna, will you bring me the picture of me and Mom? I want to show you something. So,
Yeah.
My sister, right, is my mother reincarnated from me, even though she's a lot younger than me.
Yeah.
Right? She is a monumental person in my life. This is my sister, Rosanna. But in every one of my restaurants, this is the last picture before my mom died of Mother's Day. Outside my restaurant, Nico, in 2008 or 9, before she passed away, that I have in every one of my restaurants. And it's almost to give each place a blessing. But
You know, you could tell what you're thinking right there. You know, you could look at your face and know that feeling is irreplaceable.
so the way she made me feel, I want to pass it on to my kids.
God bless you. God bless
Blessed.
you. I think now we should take a walk. Well, I think first we're going to try some of this incredible food that people talk about. And then we're going to take a walk and go meet one of your other inspirations, another neighborhood legend.
Absolutely, Frank DiPasquale.
That's right. So, the future of Nick Varano.